since you brought up the current DA, what separates you from the current DA? Like, what would be, your pitch or your selling point versus the current DA?
So when Larry became the district attorney, I'm going to tell you, I was excited because I was in there doing all these diversion programs. And I actually said to
Yeah.
man, we could do this on steroids. We could help so many more people. I got to give a shout out to Seth Williams. Seth had all kinds of issues and all that, but he embraced diversion programs.
Mm.
And I thought the guy who says I'm the most progressive DA in the country is going to really embrace our diversion programs. It was the opposite. He actually has obstructed them.
Mm.
And our numbers have gone way down. Some of the programs have shut down. Some are probably going to be shut down. And there's only one that he really started. It's called the Emergent Adult Program. And every judge in the building has asked him for an explanation of it. And none of us have gotten it yet. It's in shambles. There's nothing going on. So most diversion programs are a partnership between the public defender's office, the private bar, the prosecutors, the courts, and it works. The community's involved. But if you're not all on the same page, they're not going to work. I mean, we had some great programs. We had one for Dawn's Court, which were for prostitutes. And it's not like Pretty Woman. The women who are out there on the streets right now selling their bodies for $5 or $10, they're being sex trafficked, they're abused, they're addicted to drugs, and they're selling themselves for $5 or $10. It's horrible. And Dawn's Court would actually have a great success when they were able to come in and be in our courtroom. We could save their lives. In 1 year, we had 18 women who were arrested for prostitution while they were in the program, gave birth to drug-free babies, which is unheard of because most of them wind up in Temple. Yeah. These babies come out addicted to cocaine or heroin, and it's terrible. In fact, my wife and I fostered one of those kids a few years back, and it's an amazing journey for those babies, and it's something they shouldn't have to go through. But so we were able to help these ladies. What's happening now is they're not getting arrested, and I understand that because they're victims. The problem is there's nothing else set up to help them because the court, we could force them to get help in the beginning, and then they embrace it. Yeah. And we have all kinds of testimony from them, how well it helped their lives, and we were able to help people. And those are programs that, where are these people getting help now? And they're just withering to die on Lancaster Avenue, Tarsdale Avenue, Kensington. They're winding up in body bags. And I just think there's so many more programs that we could be helping these folks who are they're victims of the whole damn system, but we could help them a lot.
Yeah. I know the current DA has a few programs that assist our returning citizens and those who are pushing against, gun violence. And so there are some programs out there, right? So do you believe that they have merit?
Yeah. So as I was saying before, I go into SCI Phoenix and I talk to convicted murderers. Mm-hmm. So yes, those who get out of jail, who walk that tough life, who are violent human beings at some point in their life, if they come out and they want to be mentors to help turn people's lives around, they've shown us that through what they did, whether it was in prison or when they get out, that all they want to do is keep those young people from going to jail. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, we have to embrace them because having a guy who's a professor who's going to say, "Oh no, you shouldn't do that," that doesn't work. The guy who hung on the same corner 30 years ago or 20 years ago, who went to the same high school, who walked in the same neighborhood, who can now tell me, don't do the same stuff that I did because it's going to ruin your life. I got 3 kids that I didn't see. They're now 40 years old. Now I see them. I didn't see them through their teens. I wasn't around to be their father. Those kind of folks helping embrace our communities to help us turn it around. Oh my, I think that's fantastic. And that's one of the things, as a district attorney, you have access to, tens of millions of dollars for all these little micro grants. And you know what? Yes, they need to be placed well. We need to help people in the community. We need to make sure what can we do with these kids when they're babies so that, they're getting schooling early. The what is nursery school? They show if you go to nursery school, how much that's going to help you later in life. After
Mhm.
school programs, lunch
Yeah.
programs, these alternatives that they have in the schools for when there's a disturbance. How can we handle it instead of taking them out in cuffs? What
That's
can we
right.
do? No, I love it. And then
Okay.
these kids who are highly at risk, how we can bring those folks almost like a scared straight, having that 40-year-old guy who just got out of jail coming and saying, man, I was you.
Mm.
Don't be like me. Goes a
Yeah.
long way.
Yeah,
I
because I
want to.
think even though, over the past few years, the numbers have come down when it comes to the homicide uh, rates. We still have the increase in the school age victims of being gunshot victims.
Mhm.
Those are increasing as well. So that's also becoming a concern. So just having those programs for some of the students and the kids,
Yeah.
I think that would be important.
Yeah.
Yeah, those kids need alternatives.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
the streets are such a hard pull on them.
Hmm.
And we've had some folks over the last 8-10 years who were actually grabbing these kids at 13, 14 years old, putting a gun in their hand and asking them to go shoot somebody.
Yeah.
Here's a couple $100, go shoot somebody. And you know I mean,
Hmm.
men's brains aren't developed. The science says 23. I say it's much older than that. But I mean, young teenagers, their brains aren't ready to handle that yet. And they're going to do
Yeah.
it for a couple $100. And it's a
Yeah.
shame that,
Hmm.
they've
That's
been led
yeah.
down that path. And we've
Hmm.
lost so many young people to this violence.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the criminologists say part of it is because these young men have done a pretty good job of killing each other too. So
Yeah.
it does ebb and flow in terms of who's available to be a victim.
Yeah. I
Um,
have to give you. I have to acknowledge your work. Because outside of the service you have been doing, I have heard of many who have been in your courtroom that you have um done fairly. And they say it. So that deserves the flowers, and I believe that you would run not only a campaign, but if or when you win, that you would um, do what's necessary to continue to protect and serve the community. So at this point, I believe, you know, it's about which side do you like like the best, right? And I think that it's one of those things. If you know the information, if you become informed, then you can make informed decisions, right? Oftentimes most people don't get the information that's necessary to make those informed decisions, right? That said, if there was information you believe that people should know about you that they don't know, right? What would you tell them, or what information would you give to say this is truly who I am?
y- you know, it, ask people that have been around me. And again, as you said, people who've come into my courtroom. One of the best things that I felt after I resigned from the bench, the calls that I got from people saying, "I hope you win." And these are people who've been in front of me, whether they were attorneys, clerks in my room, and that said, I just appreciated how you were as a judge, and I hope you can win being a DA because I know that's how you're going to be again if you can win this. Just that reputation, people know it. And I even had people who told me this. I see people out on the campaign trail who, again, I found their son guilty or they were guilty. And they come up to me and say, but I really appreciated how you ran the courtroom. You always treated everybody fairly
Mm.
and you listened to them. And, whether, what you looked like didn't matter to me. It was about what was the evidence there. So, um, again, I am Pat Dugan from Philadelphia, and I'm real. I really am. I'm not trying to hide anything from you. I'm not out there getting coached what to say. I'm
Mm.
not looking at polls. I'm just being as real as I possibly can. This is me. And, my joy are my grandkids. And it would be so much easier for me to just go off into retirement, hang out with my grandkids. You know, you, I had the greatest job in the world, as other than being like a bullpen coach for the Phillies, or, the long snapper for the Eagles. I was a municipal court judge in the city of Philadelphia. I love what I was doing. And all I had to do was coast into retirement, chilling out, all that good stuff. And I'm taking this mission on because I believe in getting up and helping people. And that's why I decided to do this, because that's who I am as a man. And that's sincere. It's just who I am. And I truly want to help Philadelphia for all Philadelphians. So, again, I'm not getting consultants telling me, say this, say that. No, I'm real.
Fantastic. If and when you win, you have to promise that you come back to the show and talk about that. Talk about the journey. Talk about, how you're feeling now. Do you, right? Before you answer that, or acknowledge that you'll come back. I'm sure you'll come back. But, but I would like to know what your life would be like if you find out that you have one, that day one. What would that be like? And, would you sit on, like, you're sitting here saying all the things that you have done? Would you change your mind, or would you pivot? Will you, now that you are to a degree affiliated with a different party, do you now take some of their ideals, or some of their interests in you with what you're doing and ruling?
So, yes, I will be back.
There you go. Then it gets. Let's pause right there. Give a round of applause. No doubt.
Absolutely. And what I can tell you is that if I had won in May, the Democrats would have no say in how I run my office. And if I win as the Republican nominee, the Republicans will have no say in how I run my office.
Round of applause. Absolutely.
It's going to be, I'm going to bring in good people, surround myself with good people. I never say that I never think I'm the smartest person in the room. It's going to be, I'm bringing in good people to be around me. I don't want yes people coming to work for me. I need people to come in, give me their best thoughts, their best ideas. I'm going to make the decisions.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to surround myself with good people. But again, no political party is going to tell me what to do. And in any office, it kind of should be like that. But darn it, in the district attorney's office, there's no room for politics in there, in my opinion. There really isn't.
Agree with that, yeah.
There really isn't.
Fantastic. Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah.
I mean, my final thought was just like, do you have any concerns about, like, once you win, your mental health? Like, how do you take care of your mental health?
Yeah.
Because we had Mayor Sherrill, when she was just what was it, Democratic candidate.
Oh yeah, just a
elect.
Democratic.
Yeah, she was just the elect at that point, and we asked her, like, how will you, take care of your mental health? What are you going to do? And she sounded like she, How about you? How do you plan to take care of your mental health?
So, as a judge for 17 years, and again, somebody who's been in combat zones and all, it's something you got to learn how to get rid of the stress. I will never stop going to see my grandkids play a game. I probably won't be able to go as often as I do, but you got to continue that family is first. I'm never going to lose that. Yeah. I think that keeps yourself grounded and well balanced. My wife has been a fantastic supporter of mine. But I will definitely be talking to people.
Right.
I know. So as a judge, I had to have police protection at times. I had death threats. Even in a campaign in the springtime, I had some pretty bad threats against me as well. It's part of being in the public world today in this crazy day and age. So it's something that you just have to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with good people.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you that I'm not afraid to sit down and talk to a professional. There have been times in my career that I did sit down because of some of the things that were coming at me.
Yeah.
And, you should talk to somebody who that's their job. So I have talked to a therapist or two, just trying to deal with things that are going on. So I do know I'm man enough to admit that, yeah, sometimes it's good to sit down and talk to somebody about it. So I just plan on surrounding myself with good people, getting good advice, and just, moving forward. Yeah, my life's going to change after I win this, but that's what I'm trying to do for the city. I'm going to surround myself with some really good people from the city of Philadelphia. We're going to take this on. We're going to do it together.
Yeah.
And I'll come back here for
There
therapy
you
to
go.
talk to you guys.
Give a round of applause for that. Look, so I got one more question to ask you. I'm gonna throw you a little curveball because this is one of those questions that everybody has a challenge with. If I was to ask you the one thing that no one else knows about you, about the Honorable Patrick Dugan, what would that be? Gotta dig deep.
So, as a paratrooper, jumping out of airplanes from thousands of feet, I'm afraid of heights.
What? Hold on, where's my script? What?
I'm afraid of heights. I'm afraid of heights.
That makes no sense.
You are a brave man.
So I got to tell you, when you're up in an airplane and you're 1,500 feet up, there's no perception of the height. So it's easy to walk out of that airplane into the air. But when you're up on a ladder, 24 feet up, oh my goodness, I'm not very good at that.
Yeah,
So,
wow.
And I guess I can elaborate a little bit more. If we got to go up on the ladder, my beautiful wife, generally speaking, will do it. So I'm also man enough. I'm man enough to admit that I just don't do well on ladders.
Fantastic. Is there anything that stands out, a memory during your tenure, that stands out that you are truly proud of? I mean, literally, you had so many moments, but is it something that stands out that you were really proud of in terms of any of your either rulings or success of your programs?
So there's a gentleman from West Philly that was
Shout out to West Philly. Yeah, we from West Philly. So. All of us actually.
he went to Overbrook.
Shout out to Overbrook. I'm from Overbrook. That's my alma mater. Go ahead. You want another one? Say something else.
I really didn't do my homework. I'm not doing. So anyway, my buddy, and I'll just say his first name, Donald. We had a really hard time when he was in my courtroom, back and forth with his addiction and crimes he was committing, and we didn't give up on him, and he finally got it, and he's over 8 years sober now. His first year sobriety happened to be close to my wedding anniversary. I'm taking my wife out to dinner. I get a call. He says, "Can you come to my meeting?" Because that's what you do on your first year anniversary. You bring people that were part of it. So my wife and I went out to 54th, and I forget what the cross street was, to see him on. Now, my wife didn't know where she was going on the way to dinner. So we stopped into the meeting to see Donald and for him to talk about, his year struggle. And we're good friends now. He became a mentor in my courtroom for other veterans. And even since I retired from the bench, I still see him. And he recently called me up to tell me it's 8 years now. So he's just somebody that,
amazing,
and he's now back he's now talking with his daughter. His daughter's back in his life. I was with him a couple of weeks ago, and he's talking about his grandbaby that he's seeing. So it's just, you can make a difference in a person's life, and it just ripples forever. So that is one example that he's near and dear to my heart. And, I hope to keep, I'm proud of being able to do that for that man.
Wow. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Patrick Dugan. I'm going to give you the floor to say, because I did it for, the current DA, but I'm gonna allow you the opportunity to talk to our audience to let them know why they should vote for you in this upcoming election. You had the last word.
So I have a body of work. I've been doing this for a while. I really can walk and chew gum at the same time. The diversion programs, eviction diversion, me going into the prisons, me sitting in a murder room and holding people accountable. There are some bad people out there We need to protect our neighborhoods. We need to make it safer for our kids in the rec centers to be able to go play there and not get shot by somebody just gone randomly shooting down the street. People need second chances. I have no problem doing that. I've done it. It's my body of work. So walk and chew gum at the same time. People are going to be doing violent crimes. They need to pay for it. People who need a second chance, we can do it. We can do it together. I want your input, but I also want your vote on November 4th. I need you to make sure you get everybody to come out. I have a website, judgeduganforda.com, social media, Dugan for DA. I'm on TikTok and all those Instagrams, MySpace, you name it. I'm on them all.
MySpace.
Yeah. So just, do your civic duty, folks. Get out and vote. And you should always get out and vote. And again, I'm Pat Dugan. I'm from Philadelphia, and I'm real.
Speaking of elections, right? Speaking of the polls, you're running against someone, right? Dugan, I believe, right? Is it Dugan? Did I say that right? Dugan? So
I'm having a little trouble remembering his name right now.
So in all fairness,
Did you say who?
in all fairness, right? Because we're nonpartisan, and so we try our best to be fair across the board. But in comparison to him, why should someone vote for you versus your competitor? What makes you stand out as the candidate for people to continue to have as DA of Philadelphia?
I think it's really the difference between actions and words. Words are really cheap in a political cycle. I still can't figure out whether my opponent is the great reformer he claims to be or the hang 'em high law and order guy he is in the next sentence. He talks a real good game about police accountability, except for anybody who's familiar with the Josie case, which is an infamous case in Philly.
Yeah.
He's the judge who said not guilty after he watched a video that made it crystal clear how guilty that much larger and brutal officer was, right? So I think ultimately you got to look at people's life's work. You got to look at what they have done rather than just listen to their words. But another way to look at it is real simple. He just talks over and over and over about doing things that are old, about going backward. We can't go backwards. This is a country that was the most incarcerated big country in the world and also hyper violent. Philly's moving in the right direction. We have far fewer people in jail. We have far fewer homicides. What is the issue?
You've lived in Philadelphia for many, many years now. What makes this city feel like home to you?
Oh, man. I mean, everything. Everything makes it feel like home to me. I do a lot of travel to recruit. We recruit lawyers all over the country for a whole lot of reasons, including getting the best talent and getting really diverse talent. We go all over the country. And so I get to see a whole lot of cities. Some I know, like I know Chicago because I went to college there and I love Chicago. It's actually the city that reminds me the most of Philly.
I can see that.
Other ones where I've never been, right? But a lot of people don't understand that this is a city with so many positives. It's a city where a lot of people are walking around. Spend some time in LA. You think LA is nice? You better like the inside of your car because that's where you're going to be. It's a walking around city. It's a city where people, even if they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, because that's a Philly thing,
It is.
they will
Philly
talk.
grit.
They got grit, but they will talk to you at that bus stop.
Right.
They will
Yes.
talk to you on
Right.
jury duty. They will engage with you on the street. It's a very affordable city. This is a city that has a great restaurant life. It has a great musical and cultural history. It's one of the better cities for riding a bike around, actually, in the United States, and which is important to me because I like to ride my bike. It's just a city that is very, very livable. And I got to tell you, I remember the bad old days of Frank Rizzo. I once even met Frank Rizzo, Philly's so much better. So much better than it was in the late 1960s. It's so much better than it was even in the early 2000s. It just keeps getting better. There is a reason why a lot of us consider the 5 boroughs in New York to be the boroughs of Philadelphia.
Interesting. We say in Philly, we just say we're our own city and state. We're our own city and state. Here's a question for you. Favorite cheesesteak?
Ooh, D'Alessandro's.
Ooh,
Okay, all
okay,
right,
all right, no
yeah.
doubt. Where were you
Okay.
when the Eagles won?
Jumping up and down in my living room.
Me too,
I
me
try to
too.
keep my athletic viewing near the kitchen.
Right.
That's
Mhm,
key to me.
mhm.
I find it more affordable as well.
Right there.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, D'Alessandro, everyone. Yeah,
Yeah.
shout out to D'Alessandro's.
Mhm.
If someone asked you, what is the legacy that you would like to leave, right? How would you answer?
I shouldn't say silence, right? What is the legacy?
It's the legacy.
Safer,
Okay.
fairer, freer,
Mm,
and now he gets to sit on the beach. How about that?
I like that.
fantastic.
Mhm,
Fantastic.
mhm. What are some of the biggest, or what would you say is the biggest misconception about District Attorney Larry Krasner?
Yeah.
What's the biggest misconception? I mean, this could be a book, right? There's a lot of
Yeah,
misconceptions. And I'm not trying to avoid your question,
Yeah.
but honestly, I
No.
guess I don't really know,
Mhm.
because what I tend to know is what I do every day and what the numbers say.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's kind of the world where I live. I don't
Yeah.
actually spend all my time watching, late night local news
Mhm.
or hanging out at the Mayfair Diner to hear what the diners there might say, which might not be 100% positive.
Sure.
I don't know exactly, but I
Mhm.
do think the most important thing is just put your head down and do the work. Keep
Mhm.
moving. Don't get too bothered when people say things that are untrue or
Mhm.
say things that are inaccurate.
Mhm.
I get more irritated at myself when they
Mhm.
say things that are true,
Mhm.
that are mistakes I made. But I also know I make mistakes every single day. I mean, that's
Mhm.
that's just how it is. You have to. It's all about trying. It's
All right.
about trying to be fair. It's about trying to do the right thing. It's about putting in the time. It's
Mhm.
about connecting with community. It's about outsiders.
Yeah,
That's
fantastic.
right.
Mhm.
So I just want to thank you for coming to the show. I know you're very busy, and I know it was some challenges in getting here, and so I really appreciate your time. Um, I'm gonna give you my last question that I normally give to, you know, guests that I like, right? And I happen to like you, right? So the question that I have is, I want you to dig deep into that, that library information. What's the one thing that no one else knows about DA Larry Krasner? No one else knows that you could tell us today.
Well, there's some things I can't
You
tell you.
can't say.
We won't get into that. But what's the one thing that nobody knows?
An exclusive.
Yeah.
Exclusive. I was friendly in grade school
Mhm.
with a girl who does not professionally sing by the name under which I knew her
Mhm.
when we were both in elementary school.
Okay.
But she has gone on to be a Philadelphia-based, nationally significant singer, and I will not tell you who she is.
Then you didn't tell.
Right.
All
Now
right.
people gonna be googling. Well, where
I
did
know,
this
right?
go?
It's
How old
right
was
there. All right, there you go. We talk weeklies after
Right.
talking WPPML.
Can I give a shout out real quick?
Yeah, well, no doubt. Give a shout,
Shout out to United for Strife. Thank you so much, DA Larry Krasner.
Yeah.
And when is the voting coming out?
We're gonna get there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
all
go ahead.
right,
No,
yeah,
finish. Go ahead. You just go.
that was it.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you could, kind of, let people at home know, like, the vote and that
Yeah,
information.
all that good old stuff. Where to vote, when to
Yeah,
vote,
where they can- yeah.
how they can get in contact with you, all that good old stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, number one, voting day is May the 20th. May
That's
the
right.
20th of 2025. That
right.
is a week from Tuesday. The polls will be opening at 7:00 in the morning.
That's
They
right.
close at 8:00 at night, but not exactly, because if you're still in line at 8 o'clock at night, they will let you vote.
I didn't know
Do
that.
not
I
get
didn't know
out
that
of
either.
line.
Yeah.
Do not get out of line.
Wow.
Now, here's another important thing for people to know, and that is that even for people who have been in jail
Yeah.
for an offense,
That's right.
if you are in county custody and you're waiting for trial, you can vote. You can vote before you are convicted of a crime. If you are serving a sentence of jail, you cannot vote while you're serving your jail sentence, but you can vote as soon as you get out of custody. There are a lot of people who have an old conviction and they are under the false impression that
Yeah,
they
they
can
can.
never vote.
Mm-hmm.
Wrong. In
That's right.
Pennsylvania, if you're not locked up, then you can vote even if you have a prior conviction, which is how it should be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise we're going to have a bunch of, we're going to be disqualifying so many people from voting, and they have a voice and they have things to say.
Wow.
So that is true. It is too late to register to vote if you have not already
Yeah.
registered.
Yeah.
But you can go to City Hall and you can vote on paper if you wish to do so. But for me, it's all about Election Day. I really enjoy the process of going to vote early. I still remember standing in line in 2012 when Obama got elected.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Was that the first time? Or was it 08? It was 12,
08,
right?
yeah.
It was 08.
That's the
I
second.
still-
08 was the first
I
one.
still remember standing in line the first time in 08 and
Mm.
seeing at 7 a.m. in Mount Airy and seeing the line go around the block,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
It's really a moment. It's really
Mm.
exciting.
Right.
If you're the kind of person who feeds off of going to a live sports performance or going to a live concert, you are missing the boat if you don't go vote. You
That's right.
need
Yeah.
to go vote. It's really very exciting.
Take your children with you.
Take your
Yeah.
kids with
Yeah.
you. Take them in the booth. Show them
Mhm.
how it's done. That's how we can actually save this country from you know who.
No doubt. Let me do this ID because you still ain't say how they can get in contact with you, but I got to do this name ID real quick. You're listening to We Talk Weeklies After the Talk on WPPMLP Philadelphia 106.5 FM. We Talk Weeklies After the Talk with your boy Charles Gregory and the beautiful.
Class-
and
Classy lady sparkle.
beautiful.
Lawrence Sizzle.
This is Larry Krasner, and you can find me at krasner4da.com. That's KRASNERFORDA.com, where you can volunteer, where you can donate, and where you can learn more about what we stand for.
Fantastic. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Look, this is our civic duty. It's very important for us to give the information to the people, right? When we talk about even, preventing false information, false narratives, right? It's better for you to hear them from the horse's mouth, so to speak, right? To hear the candidates who are doing some work to say some of the things that they're doing to truly know what's going on. You need platforms like this. That's why we always say support independent media, support We Talk Weekly, support people who are actually in those streets that's doing the work. But we will continue to lend a platform for people to give information to the community. And that's one of the most important positions that We Talk Weekly sits on. There's always this discussion of we don't know, right? We hear people saying, I shouldn't vote, or why should I vote? This gives you the opportunity to make those decisions. You can't make a decision without the information, right? So once you had information, now you're informed. Now you can make an informed decision whether whomever you believe, do your research. But what we're doing right now is at the very least giving you the cliff notes, right? And so I'm your boy Charles Gregory. Continue to follow, continue to subscribe, continue to share. And if you're feeling, you want to dig in that little pocket, make sure you donate to We Talk Weekly. Cash App, We Talk Weekly. We're everywhere. Make all the people who's listening on all of the platforms across the country, across the world, actually. We really appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. And we're out here like last year, y'all. Peace.